Northside Radio, FM 99.3. That was a great track, Bee Gees. We can't get enough of Bee Gees, Holiday. And if you have a request, you can give me a call in about 10 minutes. It's now 25 to 11. And I have on the phone with me Blake Chandler. Good morning, Blake. Are you there?
Good morning, Jenny.
I'll just turn this fader right up so we can hear you. And how's your morning been? Yes, I can. Thank you so much, Blake. And Blake will be joining me every Wednesday morning around this time, or 20 past 10, and just have a little chat about what's happening with Yellow Brick Road. And there's many things to talk about. And I mean, want to talk about super this week. I mean, this is when people will be receiving their super statements in the post, and a lot of people think, well, what's all this all about, and questions. And can you help us with that one?
Exactly, Jenny. Well, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you too.
Super statements, people look at them and go, what is this? Or I don't need to look at it. But it's exactly right. When people see their super statements, it's a really important thing. At Yellow Brick Road, even Mark Boris says, the reason he set up Yellow Brick Road is he wants everyone to have a roof over their head, to own their home and retire comfortably. And when we say retire comfortably, it's your super that helps you do that. So it's really important to people.
I mean, also when people work for one company and they change and they work for another company, different companies have different super funds, and therefore we could have at least 5 or 6 depending. I did receive something from Super Trace and it says, I'm thinking, oh, how much have I got in here? $24. I mean, it's not even worth the piece of paper they're sending it out on, and I mean, it's just dwindling. I know I have to sort of get my super organised from the different companies I've worked at over the years, but I'm just lazy.
Yeah, Jenny, and you do, and I see this all the time. 5, 6, 3 super funds that people have. And the thing is, and the reason why that's such a low balance is that the fees don't stop. So if you change employers, your employer's only adding into one fund. So all the other funds that you've left and forgotten about, the money's sitting there, no money's going in, but the fees are still coming out.
Exactly.
So all those funds are going down and down and down. So you're paying 5 or 6 super fees across all of them.
And not everybody sends the paperwork through because people change address and they don't have your updated details, so it doesn't follow you. So people lose track of what's happened in the past and they forget. They certainly forget. So can you help them, in that regard as well?
That's what we do. I like to think of super like a briefcase. Once you set it up and you set it up correctly and you find all that lost super, and it's not that hard to do if you sit down with an expert, and there are government websites to help you track down lost super when you've changed addresses. But once you have a super fund set up for you that you know is low on fees, that you know is invested in all the right things that match your retirement goals to make sure you can retire comfortably, you treat it like a suitcase and you take it to your new employers. So instead of them setting up another new fund, you tell them, this is my fund, this is where I want you to put money.
And how do I get my super to perform? If I want to get the best from it, speaking to you, Blake, you could take me through.
Okay. Well, good question. It's really important, and I think sometimes people look at their super statements and go, well, has it performed, has it not? And it's really important first, before we go any further, to know that super isn't an investment in itself. Super is a legal and tax structure. Okay? So the reasons that we have super is so that there's lots of tax incentives. When your employer puts money in, it's only taxed at 15%, not the usual higher tax rate that you pay on your wages. And then any earnings from that is taxed at an even lower rate. And in retirement, when you get all of your money in a lump sum, any future earnings are taxed 0%. So that's the benefit. It's a tax structure, so that in retirement you can have more money to retire comfortably. So super itself isn't an investment. It's what your money is doing inside super. And just like outside, it's invested in growth assets like shares and property, in, looking at the other end of the spectrum, cash and equities, and then in between, fixed interest investments, government debt, property, bonds. So there's all these asset classes that you can invest your money in. And where you invest your money is how you get your super to perform.
Well, I think also a lot of people get a little bit lazy also, and they're working and they have money coming in all the time, so they don't even think about their future. They're just thinking about the day they're living in. So, I mean, I'm another person. I really don't have much super. I really don't. I haven't worked in the last, say, 17 years full time. And I know I do have to go back and start earning some money now. But it scares me to think I'll be desperately living on the pension later on in life, or unless I have to sell the asset that I'm living in and downsize so I could live off, the profits there. Or it's quite a scary world, really. The pension is not enough. And so we really do rely on the super.
It is scary, but I'd say like most things in life, if we're scared of it and put our head in the sand, it's not actually going to help. It's really important to look at these things. And super and all these asset classes I've talked about always work on the rule of compounding interest. So if you get your super performing today, well, that's going to start compounding, and the performance is going to start giving you interest on top of that. And, it's going to build at a good rate. So the sooner that you do look at it, the better. And that's what our Guru product we talked about the other week with Ray does, is that we have specific calculators, tens of thousands of finance calculators, when you can sit down, look at your position today, and it can show you your path to the future. And you can change where your super is invested, how much you put into it, to show will you have enough at retirement. And if you don't, well, what can you do today? There are simple things people can do today to make sure they have enough at retirement.
Well, it does get a little bit scary. And the scary question here is, how much do we need for our retirement? That's another one.
We did some research a couple of years ago, and we came to the average couple needs $1 million to retire, right?
Oh, boy.
$1 million in super. And that's living on an average income in retirement, it's having their roof over their head, and, looking at the average life expectancy these days, because we live longer. And we don't know, the pension you mentioned before in the government, we don't know whether that's going to be around in the future with our ageing population. So people's super is really important, and they need to look at it. And there's simple things they can do to make sure they have more in there by retirement.
Oh, no, that's fantastic, Blake. Thank you so much. You've just scared me.
No worries, Jenny. Well, I hope I've scared you to take action.
Oh, I think you have, actually. I've been procrastinating for such a long time. And I did speak to somebody, and they said, look, we can, amalgamate. We can get all of your different super funds together. And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And I still haven't been back to do that. I am a naughty girl.
Well, Jenny, I might give you just a couple of quick tips, right, that people can take away.
Thank you.
As always, I recommend they do it with an expert that does this every single day like us. But one, we've already mentioned it. Make sure your super's all in one account, so you're not paying multiple fees.
Consolidate the lot.
Yep, check the fees on your super account. Look at where your super's invested. Should it be in higher growth assets? Do you have longer to invest and can, look at the sands of time and make more of your performance of your investments? And lastly, you can put more into super to make sure that you have enough. I've mentioned it's a great tax structure, so there's great tax benefits of putting your money into super. So you can, on top of your employer, add into super. So there's 4 simple things that everyone can do today.
Oh, thank you very much, Blake. And we'll be talking about something new next week, all involving Yellow Brick Road. Are you there? Hello.
Thanks, Jenny.
Have you? I know you're in the car and you're on the mobile, so sometimes it does slightly drop out. And I've put your level right up as high as we can, so that's okay. The best I can do, listeners. I know I sound a little bit louder than Blake, but we'll get this all fixed up. And Blake, thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you will be having a busy week and you're waiting for my call. I will be giving you a call next week around 10:20, and don't work too hard.
Thanks, Jenny.
All right. Thank you, Blake. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Thank you. And that was Blake Chandler from Yellow Brick Road. And if you would like to speak to Blake or any of the team, you can phone 1300 782 995. That's 1300 782 995. That is Yellow Brick Road. Have you been thinking about refinancing your home loan so you can afford the odd holiday? You're just not sure if there is a suitable option. Why not speak to our experts at Yellow Brick Road? Learn how to spend less on your home loan and more on your investment dreams. Talk to our sponsor, Yellow Brick Road. Phone today, 1300 275 420, and speak to Blake Chandler or his local team. yellowbrickroad.com.au. Fees and charges may be payable. ACL 393195, AFSL 323825.